Welcome to Shots with Katherine. Hi, I'm Katherine. I'm a cinematographer. If you already follow me, then you probably already knew that. And if you did not already follow me, then welcome. Thanks for tuning in. And welcome to my cinematography vlog, the pilot episode of Shots with Katherine. And in honor of the first episode, I have this poster that has 101 classic movie quotes on it. Every episode, I'm going to read a quote from here, starting with quote number 1. They may take away our lives, but they'll never take away our freedom! I have no idea what that's from. As you'll find out later in this episode, I've missed out on a lot of movies. Now back to cinematography. I've been a cinematographer and working in independent film production for about 7 years now. I am originally from Seattle. Technically, I'm from this teeny little island that is right off the coast of Seattle, but nobody's ever heard of it, so I always just say Seattle. I grew up there, and then I went to film school for 2 years in Alabama, and then 2 years in Chicago. I lived there for a while, finished my schooling there, and then I just spent some time on the road, traveling all over the country, kind of hopping from place to place for a month or so here or there. And I've been lucky enough to work on film projects all over the United States, and I even shot a short film in St. Petersburg, Russia last year. Fun fact, I am also half Russian, and I speak it fluently. Привет, очень приятно познакомиться. I'm sure I will find more excuses to speak Russian in future episodes because I think Russian's an awesome language, but I digress. I shot this film in St. Petersburg, Russia, and I have a great story about getting permits for that film, but that is definitely a story for another episode. After all of that, I moved to LA, and I've been here for about a year now. I've shot definitely a little bit of everything. In terms of narrative films, I've shot just about every genre: comedy, romance, drama, sci-fi, horror. I've shot people fighting and people getting killed, and then my last project, my very last one before coronavirus shut everything down for good, involved a scene with somebody giving birth. So now I can say that I've shot birth, death, and everything in between. So I feel pretty well-rounded as a DP. Fun fact, outside the world of narrative cinematography, I've shot some pretty wild stuff. I was hired twice to shoot funerals. And then I've also shot weddings, so I can say I've shot weddings and funerals and everything in between, and all that's missing, I guess now, is a real birth and not a movie one. Not really in any hurry to shoot one of those, though, to be honest. I actually got into filmmaking and cinematography in particular because I did not watch a lot of movies growing up. I was a bookworm. I always had my nose in a book, and in my family we didn't have cable TV, so we only ever watched TV when we were staying in hotels. And we were allowed to watch one movie a week. It was the weekly Friday family movie. We'd all sit down together and watch a movie, and that was it. And so the rest of the time, I always had my nose in a book. I always loved stories and storytelling and getting lost in these different worlds. And on the rare occasions when I wasn't reading, usually I would invent some sort of elaborate fantasy world that my toys and I would play in. When I learned that you could study filmmaking and that film school was a thing, that was pretty much it. Off to film school I went. And cinematography was just a natural fit. I've always been such a visual person. When I was reading, I would always have to stop and reread lengthy descriptions just so that I could visualize every single detail. I would imagine everything from the settings to the characters, just every single last detail and everything I read. It would just play out like these movies in my head. And even the rest of the time, whenever I would read something or hear something, sometimes even if I would smell something or feel something, it would just conjure up these vivid images in my head, and I wanted to be able to bring all of those to life. I love cinematography because I love being able to tell a new story and build a new world for every project that I shoot. And I love working in film production because it's such a great opportunity to connect with other talented and creative individuals, and we're all working together to create something even better than any one of us could have done in the first place. And I've always found it so inspiring and so helpful to hear other filmmakers and other cinematographers talking about what inspires them and what drives their creative process and how they go about deciding how to build the worlds for their projects. And that's what I really wanted to explore in this vlog. I wanted to focus on the story and the creative process and storytelling process behind cinematography. Thank you so much for watching this pilot episode of Shots with Katherine. Feel free to shoot me any questions, comments, suggestions. Just leave them down there. And I hope everybody out there is staying healthy. And until next time.